Welcome to the European Cup final between Malmö and Dynamo Moscow. Moscow in the blue jerseys playing from right to left. And you're going to see a real contrast of styles here between these two teams. You've got the young, hungry East Europeans on the Moscow team fighting for big contracts, looking for places in the NHL. They already know that A.Юдин and Yashin and Nazarov have been drafted to play in the National Hockey League. Yashin is just 19. The Ottawa Senators, the new franchise team, have picked him as their #1 draft pick. And this guy can fly. He really doesn't want to go until he's ready. He wants his family to go with him. And they're talking about $350,000 for his first year out there. Possibly jobs for the family. Who knows? Even the dog and cat may go too. I don't think he'll be going this year. He's still got military commitments. He's a very mature player, but he figures he's a bit immature as a hockey player, and he wants to spend some more time with his team, Moscow Dynamo, and with the national team. Muhometov, is the goaltender. 21 years old. A lot of youngsters on this Moscow team. They had 9 players on last year's World Championship team. Petrenko is the only one left. They really have been scalped. Players have gone everywhere, but as I've said in the past, they seem to dig deep. They seem to be digging deeper than ever, and they've come up with a magnificent team. They're right in the final, looking for their first victory. Malmö, well, what can you say about them? Great goaltending and Peter Lindmark. You've got Mats Naslund, Rydmark, who've been drafted by the NHL. Robert Zvela, Czechoslovakian forward out there. A lot of go on both teams. Rydmark gets that over the blue. Let's see what happens in this one. It's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be fast. Moscow throwing that up on the wing. Coming up quickly. Petrenko behind the red line. Tips it in front. Yashin is there! Yashin, 30 seconds gone in the game, and the 19-year-old headed for the NHL makes it 1-0. That came off the post. Yashin, possibly if he was a bit younger or a bit inexperienced, would have skated away from this and just left it there, but he stayed right on the spot. The goaltender lost it as it lay behind him, and he popped it over the line. Again, the second bite of the cherry. That came off the post, off the goaltender, and Yashin taps it home. Petrenko puts his arms in the air. He helped to get that in front, but he won't get an assist for that because it came off the goalie. A great start for Dynamo here in the first period. 1-0. Batted down by Burakowski. Got over the blue, and that was taken off his stick. Coming back on the attack, A.Юдин, drafted by the Flames. 23-year-old A.Юдin out there for the first time. A big chop coming from Д.Dorofeev. Dynamo, Malmö, the opposite ends of the rink, and that's what you're hearing in the background. I don't know if they're all Swedish or they're all Russian supporters out there. I have a feeling that they've just divided themselves up, and they're going Malmö, Dynamo. Dynamo is the way they say it. Д.Филимонов fires that up on the right wing. Back comes Moscow. The long tap in, squeezed along the boards by Nazarov. Nazarov watches that one as it's lost to Sundström. He taps it forward. Svenberg dives into the corner, trying to help him out as Roger Hansen. The long shot comes in. Muhometov gathers that.
Den Schweden, der Titelverteidiger und Europacup-Sieger vom Vorjahr, Djurgården Stockholm, sogar nur derzeit Sechster. Und er ist der Schiedsrichter Anton Danko, ein Slowake aus Poprad, Direktor eines Eisstadions, WM-Schiedsrichter in Prag. zweite Netz eingeklemmt. Und das ist er hier, Peter Lindmark. Fast ein Jahrzehnt stand er regelmäßig im Tor der schwedischen Eishockey-Nationalmannschaft. Unglaublich ruhiger, nüchterner, sachlicher Torhüter. Beiden Trainer von Dynamo, links Petr Vorobjev und hinten Sinitula Biljaletinov. Von 78 bis 87 in der Nationalmannschaft, die damals noch der Sowjetunion, der UdSSR zugeordnet wurde. Orlund.
Ja, aber trotz der Führung, man sieht es hier, auch die Russen nach wie vor auch defensiv sofort an der blauen Linie. Wird die Abwehrkette gebildet und der russische Torwart hat natürlich kein Problem bei diesen Schüssen von der blauen Linie, hat freie Sicht und mit diesen Schüssen kann man ihn nicht bezwingen.
Wenn schon dann so wie Uli Hima gestern mit diesem kapitalen Schlagschuss, der leider zu spät einschlug im Tor von Dynamo, um die DEG noch zurückzubringen auf die Siegesstraße. Tolle Aktion der Düsseldorfer Fans hat es hier übrigens vor dem Spiel gegeben. Ein sowjetischer Eishockey-Freund war hier, wollte Anstecknadeln tauschen und man hat ihm alle 400 Nadeln, die er mit hatte, gestohlen. Und da haben die Düsseldorfer Fans sofort Geld gesammelt, um ihm diesen Verlust etwas zu ersetzen. Kaminski. Gebremst von Hasselblatt.
Ja, und sofort machen die Russen das Mitteldrittel enger. Man sieht es, der Verteidiger muss zurückfahren. Die Stürmer sind besetzt, er hat keine Anspielstation. Die Räume werden sehr eng gemacht.
Näslund, die 26. Einer der ganz Großen im schwedischen Eishockey, Mats Näslund. Von 82 bis 90 bei den Montreal Canadiens, 714 Spiele in der NHL, 277 Tore. Und 86 gewann er den Stanley Cup mit den Canadiens. Hier ist er.
Ja, wie alle Schweden ein unwahrscheinlich guter Schlittschuhläufer und trotz seiner geringen Körpergröße hat sich enorm durchgesetzt in der NHL, der National Hockey League.
Tja, 714 Spiele.
Er hat auch schon seine Rente, sicher, bei 400 Spielen. Ist es soweit?
Hansson, Selle. Die Russen natürlich auch mit dem Defensivsystem, mit dem alle spielen auf der Welt inzwischen. Und mit diesem Schuss. Der Nummer 11.
Ja, hier nochmal schön zu sehen, kein Problem. Ja, die 14.
Jakubov.
In die Fanghand. Ja, aber was auffällt bei den Russen auch gestern gegen die DEG, enorm zweikampfstark. Und sie haben auch Gardemaß in der Verteidigung.
Rüttmark beim Bulli für Malmö, muss allerdings seinen Platz jetzt räumen. Daniel Rüttmark, Weltmeister 92, Olympiateilnehmer in Albertville. 2 Weltmeister aus diesem Jahr aus der CSFR bei den Schweden dabei. Der zweite ist Roger Hansson. Begat. Jaschin, der Torschütze, nach 30 Sekunden 1:0 für Dynamo Moskau gegen Malmö IF. 5,5 Minuten gespielt. Und Sie sehen diesen Vollvisierhelm und so Gesichtsmaskenträger stehen jetzt 3 Feldspieler auf dem Eis bei Dynamo Moskau. Und das kennzeichnet, wie jung diese Mannschaft ist. Gerade 21 Jahre im Durchschnitt. Und diese Maskenträger, die sind halt erst 19 und müssen noch die für Junioren vorgeschriebenen Gesichtsvisiere tragen.
Sehr international bzw. auch national, dass im gesamten Nachwuchsbereich diese Nachwuchsspieler eben mit diesem Vollgesichtsschutz spielen, um eben Verletzungen.
Hier Andrei Nazarov oder Dimitri auch dabei, trägt die 21.
Ja, mir scheint, die Schweden, sie haben das schnelle Tor ganz gut weggesteckt.
Also die Kulisse ist schon beachtlich. Also in Düsseldorf, der Eindruck trügt da wirklich nicht. Macht man das Licht an im Eisstadion und schon ist die Hälfte der Plätze besetzt. Ich kann mich noch an ein Turnier vor 3 Jahren, war es glaube ich, in Berlin erinnern, wo sich immer nur einige 100 Zuschauer in der Halle verloren. A.Karpovцев, der Kapitän. Kaminski. Und er wartet noch, bevor er abzieht. Sorokin, Sergei Sorokin, der ja gestern fast die DEG im Alleingang besiegte mit seinen 2 Treffern. Hier der Verteidiger, auch er erst 23 Jahre alt. Es ist schon sensationell, Alois. 14 Spieler sind 22 oder jünger, 4 sind erst 19, 3 erst 20, im Schnitt 21 und dann schon europäische Spitze.
Ja, es ist unglaublich. Vor kurzem, es ist Westjahr-Turnier. Da gewinnt die russische Olympia-Auswahl dieses Turnier. Es ist enorm. Die Frage stellt sich halt, wie lange diese Leute dann in Russland spielen. Wie schon mehrmals angesprochen, jeder spricht schon Englisch.
Ja, gute Vorstufe für die NHL. Und die Scouts, die Späher, die sitzen auch hier bei diesem Turnier. Ich glaube 16 Spieler mittlerweile stehen schon auf der Draftliste der NHL-Clubs. Die Einkaufskörbchen möchte man fast schon sagen. Jeder kann sich ja so die Spieler schon aussuchen und vorbestimmen, die er eines Tages mal haben möchte, so sie zur Verfügung stehen. Und wenn man bedenkt, V.Kramской ist 25, ist der Senior, der muss sich schon fast vorkommen wie ein Großvater bei diesen ganzen Milchgesichtern, die da um ihn herum tätig sind.
Es hat sich auch sicherlich rumgesprochen, dass also die Spieler, die in den NHL abgewandert sind, wie Makarov, Fetisov oder Kaisertonov, dass sie halt auch am Anfang ihre Probleme hatten mit der Sprache und jetzt sind sie eben voll integriert. Mittlerweile, wir haben es ja gesehen im Vorspann, gerade bei den New Jersey Devils, die Russen ein wichtiger Bestandteil dieser Mannschaft. Ja, da steht der Mittelstürmer steht vorne drin und die beiden Außenstürmer gehen sofort zurück an die blauen Linie und es bleibt nichts anderes übrig, wie die Scheibe reinzuschießen oder man versucht es alleine. Und das sind die Russen natürlich sehr stark im Zweikampf.
Und die große Chance! Und was für eine! Sylvegård, die 18.
Ja, aber was auffällt, der russische Verteidiger hat die Scheibe an der Torlinie und bleibt ganz cool. Verfällt nicht in Hektik, das zeichnet eigentlich diese junge Mannschaft aus, in kritischen Situationen auch den Überblick zu behalten. Und im Zweikampf, da sind sie clever, da sind sie wirklich enorm stark.
Wann wird da angefangen, den jungen Eishockeyspielern diese Körperkraft beizubringen?
Ja, ich glaube sicherlich schon im Schülerbereich wird also hier schon Krafttraining trainiert, wie es auch in der Bundesliga bzw. bei den Bundesliga-Vereinen gemacht wird. Auch in diesen Bereichen wird schon mit Krafttrainings gearbeitet. Und das ist halt das ganz Entscheidende bei
noch einmal aus der, Entschuldigung, dass ich Sie unterbreche, diese Möglichkeit aus der Sicht der Deckenkamera und dann kommt er halt zu Fall, der Sylvegård. Und so können die drei da mit vereinten Kräften klären. Nachdem Muchometov
macht sich lang, ja.
Die Superzeitlupe umspielt worden war.
Aber da bleiben sie ganz cool. Nimmt die Scheibe locker auf und fährt hinter das Tor ohne Hektik.
Hier war er, kurz Patrick Sylvegård. Näslund.
Ja, auch hier in dieser Einstellung sofort ist ein Russe beim Schweden, sie machen die Räume eng.
Früher gab es im Eishockey mal den Begriff des Forecheckings, also des frühen Attackierens. Den darf heute international niemand mehr in den Mund nehmen. Heute heißt die Parole Defensive. Und dann der Versuch, die Scheibe abzufangen und zu kontern.
Ja, Forechecking, wenn eine Scheibe in die Ecke geht, linke Ecke, zwei Mann gehen vorne rein, also der am nächsten an der Scheibe ist, Mittelstürmer geht nach, mit zwei Mann vorne rein sieht man fast gar nicht mehr. Und was man auch abgeht, das ist eigentlich symptomatisch für das jetzige Eishockey, man sieht keine großen Einzelaktionen mehr, dass einer vom eigenen Drittel rauskommt und hier zwei, drei Leute ausspielt, die Zeiten sind vorbei.
Ja, heute hat man keine Sekunde mehr Zeit zum Durchatmen. Sofort hat man einen der Gegenspieler im Genick.
Ja, wir haben mittlerweile auch 10 Minuten gespielt und noch keine Strafzeit. Was euch auffällt bei diesem Turnier, faire Spiele im Großen und Ganzen.
Ja. Er ist 22, R.Jakubov. Das ist halt doch noch eine halbe Stufe höher als das, was die Spitzenmannschaften in Deutschland spielen. Malmö, Moskau haben 2, 3 ausgeglichene, gleichermaßen besetzte, starke Reihen. Und da fällt dann halt auch eine Mannschaft, die die DEG, die Nationalspitze ist, dominant ist, ab, wenn die erste Reihe halt ausfällt. Die Spieler, die Nationalspitze sind, wie Kummer zum Beispiel, die sind dann halt international noch einen Schritt weg von der Spitze.
Ja, wobei man zu Wolfgang Kummer sagen muss, dass er wirklich sich in Düsseldorf enorm gesteigert
hat. Auch.
Ja, auch in der Liga enorme Fortschritte gemacht hat. Ja, und Helmut Derauf hat es ja angesprochen. Wir können hier lernen.
V.Gratchev. So, jetzt sind sie mal 3 gegen 3. Sundström. Da ist wirklich kein Millimeter Platz. Da kann man noch nicht mal richtig einatmen und schon hat man einen im Genick, der einem die Luft wieder aus dem Körper
sofort
treibt.
ist ein Russe beim scheibenführenden Mann und der nächste Mann blockiert und der nächste nimmt die Scheibe.
Nazarov.
Er war nicht ungefährlich. Angetäuscht und am Verteidiger vorbei. Abgezogen.
So, Unterbrechung und Olinett hat unten einen Interviewpartner.
Und zwar Paul Gilsdorf. Mit 71 Jahren steht er seit 8 Jahren hier in Düsseldorf bei jedem Spiel an der Bande und sorgt dafür, dass zwischen den Spielerbänken alles in Ordnung ist. Paul, ich muss ein Geheimnis verraten, Sie sind Kölner. Wie kommt es, dass ein Kölner in Düsseldorf beim Eishockey steht?
Das kommt ganz einfach durch meinen Zuzug von 1951 nach Düsseldorf. Ich habe beim Kölner EC angefangen, 39, und habe mich dann ewig dem Eishockey verschrieben.
Und haben Sie in Düsseldorf schon mal ein Spiel versäumt?
Bis heute noch nicht.
Noch nicht ganz 13 Minuten gespielt. Wer jetzt rauskommt, sich einschaltet. Das Europapokal, Endspiel im Eishockey. 1992 läuft und Dynamo Moskau in Blau führt 1:0 und durch Jaschin jetzt fast das 2:0. Peter Lindmark verhindert es. Und jetzt wird es die ersten Strafzeiten in diesem Spiel geben. Schiedsrichter Anton Danko aus der CSFR hat sich entschieden, von jeder Mannschaft geht einer. Und wir gucken uns das nochmal an. Diese Riesenmöglichkeit, die Helikopterkamera Jaschin knapp vorbei und dann kommt noch die zweite Gelegenheit. Die Scheibe kommt zurück, Lindmark.
Ja, da war er ganz alleine vorm Tor, die 3 Schweden hinterm Tor und Jaschin ging noch mal mit dem Stock dazwischen und daher die Reaktion dieser schwedischen Spieler.
Da hat er Pietrzenko schnell noch eine gedrückt, aber dann sicherheitshalber schon mal den Kopf zur Seite genommen. Ja. 19.
All players. 2 minutes. All 2 minutes. 2 players, 2 minutes.
2 Minuten für die 22. Håkan Arlund bei Malmö. Und da gehen gleich 2 hinaus. Der Kapitän Karpovtsev und auch Rydmark muss hinaus bei Malmö. Wie hieß es dann früher immer so schön, viel Platz auf dem Eis.
Ja, sicherlich, den Platz haben wir jetzt auch und das ist normal 1 gegen 1.
Kaminski der Zweite, Karpovtsev. Neslund, Hasselblatt. Fahnenspieler Helminen, Neslund, die beiden Stürmer vorne und Hasselblatt, dieser Hirte, dieser große, stämmige Verteidiger, sichert hinten ab, aber A.Judin, Break alleine, Lindmark. Und es wird jetzt etwas rauer. Meinungsverschiedenheiten werden gleich mit dem Schläger mit der Faust ausgetragen. Juhdin geschlagen von Hasselblatt. Auch das
ein Stockschlag.
2 Minuten,
ja.
Ein Stockschlag. Noch einmal diese Möglichkeit. Die Deckenkamera. Juhdin.
Ja, bei 3 gegen 3 sollte also eine solche Situation nicht passieren. Wie schon vorher angesprochen, ist normal 1 gegen 1 und ein Stürmer blieb hängen. Ich glaube, es war Mats Neslund.
So, die Assistenten der Kapitäne sind gerufen worden vom Schiedsrichter. Eine Ermahnung an die Bank. Und noch 1 Minute und 18, wenn kein anderer noch gehen muss, 3 gegen 3.
Ja, und jetzt haben wir 3 Spieler von den Russen mit dem, was sind es, 2? 2.
Schagorotski schon 23. Aber 2 der Junioren, auch in solchen Situationen müssen sie ran, dürfen sie Erfahrung sammeln und sie sind schon gut genug, um auch dies spielen zu können, überstehen zu können. Schagorotski. Svela. Hoher Stock. Deshalb die Unterbrechung und Bulli auf der schwedischen Seite. Und da ist einer frei. Sorokin war's. Beide wieder komplett. 5 Minuten vor Ablauf des ersten Drittels.
Ja, und da bleibt der Schwede stehen.
Auf dem Eis.
Ja. Der Linesman hat aufgepasst.
Bei Dynamo Moskau.
Ich glaube bei den Schweden. Ich glaube bei den Schweden. Ein Mann zu viel auf dem Eis und der Linesman hat es gleich angezeigt.
Und er sitzt die Strafe ab. Peter Hasselblatt. Entschuldigung, es war die 18, nicht die 8, Patrick Sylvegard. Also 4,5 Minuten vor Ablauf dieses ersten Drittels nochmal Überzahlspiel für Dynamo Moskau.
Ja, und wir wissen aus den vorhergegangenen Spielen, dass die russische Mannschaft immer zum Drittelende ein Tor erzielt hat. Ebenso gestern bei der DEG.
Ja, 4 Minuten vor Schluss das erste, sonst immer eigentlich in den letzten 2 Minuten des ersten Drittels. Der Führungstreffer und in Überzahl, da war bislang Mailand am erfolgreichsten. 33%, dann die DEG auf Rang 2 mit 26% und Moskau nur Dritter mit 23,5. 17 Überzahlgelegenheiten, Tore. Für Malmö hat sich die Überzahl bislang überhaupt nicht gelohnt. 7 Situationen, immer faire Spiele, aber kein einziger Treffer. Dafür liegen die Schweden in der Unterzahlwertung auf dem 3. Platz. Helminen. Die Kulisse fehlt natürlich bei so einem Spiel, das ist klar, die Anfeuerungsrufe eines vollen Stadions. Und in diesem Augenblick die Schweden wieder mit 5 Feldspielern auf dem Eis. Das hat schon viele Merkmale eines Klassespiels. Was wir hier sehen, dieses 28. Finale. 20 Mal ging der Sieg nach Moskau an den zentralen Sportclub der Roten Armee, 3-mal nach Brünn, 2-mal an Djurgården Stockholm, einmal an Poldi Kladno und einmal an den Luftwaffenclub Krylja Sowjetow. Und Dynamo Moskau könnte der 3. Verein werden aus der früheren Sowjetunion, der mal Europapokalsieger wird. Für Moskau ist es übrigens der 3. Anlauf. 91 war man 3., 90 2. Da unterlag die Mannschaft Djurgården Stockholm im Finale in Düsseldorf mit 2:3. Д.Дорофеев. So, die letzte Minute bricht an. 1:0 für Dynamo Moskau gegen Malmö IF.
Ja, und sicher eine verdiente 1:0 Führung von den Spielanteilen. Die Schweden eigentlich im Angriff etwas zu harmlos. Nach vorne, da fehlt mir ein bisschen der Druck, die Aggressivität. Aber natürlich die Russen im eigenen Drittel, da sind sie wirklich sehr aggressiv, machen die Räume eng, wie schon gestern gegen die Düsseldorfer EG.
Das ist natürlich auch das 4. Spiel für die Mannschaften innerhalb von 5 Tagen. Auch das geht sicher nicht spurlos an den Clubs vorüber. Das Spiel um Platz 3 hat schon stattgefunden vor diesem Endspiel heute Nachmittag. Ich möchte Ihnen das Ergebnis nicht verraten. Wir zeigen Ihnen in der ersten Drittelpause Ausschnitte. Eine Minute noch. Und Muchometov hat heute nicht so viel zu tun wie gestern gegen die Düsseldorfer EG. Als er zum großen Rückhalt, zum Garanten des Sieges geworden ist, mit dem sich Dynamo Moskau direkt für das Finale qualifizierte. Nochmal gibt es Strafzeiten für die 28.
Welcome back to the European Cup as we get set to start the second period. Excellent start by this young lad at center, number 19, Yashin, who put the puck in the Malmö nets after only 30 seconds of play, and that's the way it stands, 1-0. To get here, Malmö beat Oswiecim 5-0. That's the Polish side. They beat Milano Lions 3-2, and then Bern of Switzerland 5-1. Moscow beat Jokerit Helsinki 6-0, 5-0 over Rouen Dragons, and 3-1 over Dusseldorf. Rydmark spun around in the corner. That's dropped back to Kaminski. Kaminski looking for the return pass. Kaminski again throws it along the boards, back to the blue line. Tapped into Kaminski. Kaminski trying to work his way out front. Lost control of that. Poked away by Lindmark. And that's tapped all the way down the ice. Will give the teams a chance to change up their lines out there. And Kaminski, who has been announced as one of the All-Stars, along with Chris Valentine and Mats Naslund on the forward line. Sorokin and Martikainen are the defense, and Ketterer is the goaltender. Those are the All-Stars for this competition. As Filimonov fires that up on the wing, the pass eventually slides down to Yashin. He pumps that over to the far side. Yukobov, the tip right in front, bouncing puck. That comes all the way back to the blue, and Filimonov backhands that in. Right now, Malmö are in trouble. Hasselblad trying to run interference in front. The Swedish side with a man in the box. Dorofeev slows it down on the hash marks, works his way into the top of the circle. Dorofeev looking for someone to pass to, put that back onto Dmitry Filimonov's stick, and that trickled out over the blue line. A.Юдин coming back onto the ice is Burakovsky, the top scorer for Malmö last year with 19 goals and 22 assists. A long pass up a break now. Good effort by Dorofeev and great effort by Lindmark. Back on the attack. Malmö as far as the blue line. Yakubov taken out of the play, and this is good end-to-end stuff as Matti Rauna picks it up, taps it forward. A chance for a change of personnel out there as that's shot away. And we'll have a face-off in Moscow territory. Let's take a look at this again. Dorofeev having problems with number 9, Robert Zvela, doing a great job of back-checking. Lindmark comes out bravely, puts the stick out, puts the head out, stacks the pads. Combine that with Svela's effort, and it's a bit too much for Dorofeev. Kept in nicely, thrown along the boards. A big chop there from R.Ильин. Still along the far boards. Lutz can't keep it in, and that trickles away, and we'll have another face-off. Yashin, the only goal scorer so far, gives Moscow Dynamo a 1-0 lead in this European Cup final. Bo Svenberg, 15 goals, 12 assists for Malmö last season. Out on the wing is Roger Hansen, World Championship player, 26 years old. One of my favorites in the championships last year. That's tapped all the way down. Lindmark comes way out of the cage, taps it back up to the blue, and Moscow running into Hansen. Hansen now at the top of the circle, takes the shot, the rebound. Mukholmedov came out, made the save, a wicked bounce came back. And it's Malmö starting to throw their game together. Tipped to the far side by Pauna. A lot of support for both teams. Capacity crowd here in Dusseldorf. The tension starting to build as Malmö bring it back on the attack. Offside is the call right at the blue. Here in the second period, Mukholmedov, the goaltender, has not been that busy. As we take a look at Peter Sundström, has had a good tournament so far. That shot coming in went off the glove. Bouncing, bobbling, eventually goes off the skate of Sundström into the corner. Quickly shot in by Malmö, and the chase with the puck ending up behind the net. Kramskoy delivers that to the far side. Punch back in. Svenberg. Nazarov. Sylvegard taken out of the play. That's tapped to the near corner. And Moscow now eventually getting that into neutral ice territory, and it trickles all the way down the ice. And we'll have another face-off on the play. Things starting to heat up out there here in the second period. But Obiov and Bilyedinov are the coaching personnel, along with Vitaly Davidov for the Moscow team. Timo Latinen and Mats Holland look after the bench duties for Malmö. Mats Holland also plays, but he's not playing in this final. Dumped off the boards, tapped right back in nicely by Lutz. The whistle blows, and we'll have a face-off just outside the blue line. 1-0 the score. Yashin picking up the only goal of the game in the first 30 seconds of play. Yashin may be destined for my hometown of Ottawa, Canada. They desperately need someone who can put the puck in the net. The Ottawa Senators are destined to be the franchise team with the worst ever losing record. And they need someone with charisma and scoring prowess to put the team back on winning ways. Zvela pump that to the far side, and back comes Malmö. Malmö now looking to get things going with Burakovsky. Taken out of the play nicely by Szargoradzki. Szargoradzki goes after her along the boards, and that trickles all the way down the rink, and we'll have another face-off on the plate. Petrenko must feel a little aggrieved to be the only Dynamo who didn't go to the NHL or to more lucrative European hockey. A dynamic player, a great goal scorer, and a great playmaker. Face-off deep in Moscow territory. Filimonov shoots that one along the boards. It comes out at the red line, and Moscow now with a 2-on-1 situation. A chance there. Dorofeyev fed it to the far side. The goal has been dislodged, and Lindmark is having words with Svenberg as they pick themselves up in the crease. Take a look at this again. Dorofeyev, the pass just a little too far, and Svenberg could not slam on the brakes quick enough out there. Dorofeyev is a little water spider, scoots all over the ice, is a great skater, has some brilliant moves. Hansen trying to get back in there. Paune couldn't get the stick over, and eventually Svenberg ended up on top of Lindmark. Yakubov loses the draw. Hansen goes back to the hash marks. Hansen slams on the brakes, throws it back behind the red, and Malmö start to bring it out. That pass is too far for anyone, tipped onto the right wing all the way down the ice, and another icing call. These are the two best club sides in Europe, Malmö and Moscow Dynamo. We know that Helsinki defeated Milano Lions for third and fourth place respectively, so now it's all about number 1 and number 2. Rydmark into the face-off circle. Rydmark, drafted by LA back in '89, still finds himself playing hockey in Sweden. All the way back to the blue. Big shot goes in. Mухometov had a look at that, got in front of that one, punched away there by A.Nikalishin into the near corner. Malmö putting on some good pressure. Rydmark trying to dance around one man. He does. Drops it nicely back to the point. That comes out. Picked up by Черный. Черный dispossessed in the neutral zone. And going back quickly for it was Silvergard, putting a move on E.Gribko. But the whistle had already blown, and we'll have a face-off deep in Malmö territory. From the camera behind the goal, the blaster from way back at the blue. Right on the blue line. Kicked away. Kramskoy's shot was not a hard one, and Lindmark got a piece of it. Malmö start things up now. Malmö with Helminen. A shot steered into the corner. Picked up by Nazarov. Two Nazarovs on the team out there as Mухометов comes up with the save. Another look at this again. Bulin doing what he's supposed to do out there, putting the grab on the forward. Mухometov coming up with the smother on that one. 1-0 still the score. We're in second period of action here. Karpovtsev taken out of the play. That scoots by the near corner. And Malmö starting to string their game together as Naslin fights in the corner. Naslin working Burakowski. Burakowski fires that right across the goal, and it's tipped away. Going quickly after it was number 8, Hasselblad. He couldn't get there first. And it's tapped up to Helminen. Helminen gets it right in front. The shot comes in. And I.Muhometov got a pad on it. Wide open goal and a break now for Moscow. The shot. Pietrzenko. And again we see Svela getting back there, but just a bit too late. Lindmark got in front of it. At one end of the rink, it was Malmö applying the pressure. Great save there on Burakowski. At the other end of the rink, it's Pietrzenko letting the shot go. Did he get the steam on it? He tried to put it upstairs. A pair of 28s failing at either end of the rink. Did Pietrzenko get enough steam on that? It looked like he fanned on the shot. It went upstairs, and Lindmark came up with a big save. So goaltender is playing a major part in this game. That's tapped away at the blue, and back comes Moscow. Some excellent playmaking by the big blue machine out there as Malmö find themselves bunching and chasing the puck now. Nice interception. Svenberg let the shot go, and that's kicked away. Tapped into the corner, and a lot of support here for both teams. A lot of people from Germany, as you could well imagine. And just who are they supporting? Paune to the far side. Both teams trying to get fresh legs out there as Yakubov provides a little forechecking. The pass goes right in front to number 7, Paune. Paune throws it up onto the red line, and it's dumped in quickly by Svenberg. That rides all the way around to the far side. A lucky bounce ends up on a Swedish stick as Svenberg goes into the corner. A lot of pressure. Silvjard getting a rough ride from Yakubov. Yakubov can't hang on to it. That comes all the way back to the blue. The shot comes in. Muhometov got a piece of it, and that dances in the corner. Malmö still coming up with a puck. The backhander trickles away. Rydmark now gathers the loose puck, takes it out to the hash mark, slams on the brakes, lets the shot go, and that deflects high and ends up all the way down the ice, and back goes number 67, Roger Oman. That's tipped away at the last moment. Oman will wait for his teammates to get back on side. A weak shot steered away, and number 32, Sorokin, picks that up, gets it out of the zone. Yashin gathers that with the glove hand, and the official didn't like what he saw. So we'll have a face-off. Take a look at this again. Let's carry that one for a while, maybe take it home. Let the family have a look at it. Yashin, the only one to put the puck in the net, and that's the way it stands. Hasselblad dumps that all the way into the corner. Going after it is Karpovtsev. That scoots away from him, and Svela gets back. Dumps it over to the far side, and Moscow getting caught here. A 2-on-2 situation quickly becomes a 2-on-4. The boys in blue getting back in a hurry. Kaminski calling for it along the boards. Naslund goes in after it. That's tipped away at the red line, and Malmö collect it and throw it deep into their own zone. Hasselblad gets it out. Both teams going for a change as that goes down the ice. Pushed away by Sorokin. Short break coming up. We'll be right back in a moment. Welcome back, Paul Ferguson, here in Düsseldorf for this game between Malmö and Moscow Dynamo. Moscow here in the second period, playing from left to right, lead this one 1-0. We have predictions. Is that Larry Harris? Oh, I didn't recognize that face. The tip out front. Larry Harris, who doubles as an English and French co-commentator, and in his spare time coaches Rouen, who made it to this final. That trickles all the way down to just a few feet in front of the blue line, and Moscow continue to put on the pressure. And now a chance. Hansen let that shot go. I.Muhometov takes a little push there from Peter Sundström, and Sundström goes back to have words. The goal is dislodged. Let's take a look at this again. A harmless shot grabbed by the goaltender. E.Gribko stays with his man, who is Sundström, but Sundström somehow is allowed to get the stick up on the goaltender. Innocent enough. Malmö Dynamo is the constant chant throughout this Düsseldorf arena. Rydmark goes into the face-off circle. That comes all the way back to the blue. Big shot comes in well wide of the target. Scooped up along the boards and eventually trickles back and past Luth. Yakubov goes into the corner. The stick goes up high, looking for a little support from Arland. Rydmark has to go back deep, goes down on the right side, drops it back into the circle, and back comes Malmö. Malmö looking to get some quality shots on goal. Yudin takes a swipe at that. Yakubov finds Dorofeyev on the far side, and that's kept in nicely along the blue. Lindmark comes out, grabs that with the glove, and he'll force the face-off. Lots of new names on the Moscow Dynamo team. E.Gribko, Grachov, Dorofeyev. These are all guys to watch for the national team, and eventually for the Olympic team if they're allowed to stay around that long. Helminen taps that back behind the red. Naslin calling for it on the wing. Svella pumps that to the right side, and Malmö now come over the line in numbers. Helminen goes in to help out. That's stolen off his stick, and Dynamo caught with one too many players going forward. Malmö shooting it right back in. Filimonov gets that out past the blue line. A lot of play now in the neutral zone. Naslin gets back. Naslin was chosen for the All-Star team. One or two eyebrows raised on that decision. The tap there, Šargorодский to the far side. Long pass right up to the red line, nicely done by Moscow. Svella hammers his man out of the play, and Malmö now not a lot of support in the neutral ice. Dynamo applying the pressure as they get back in a hurry. Svella goes after his man. That's left nicely for Pauna. Pauna taps it forward. Hansen takes the shot. That took a deflection into the corner. Bossen. Hansen goes after his man. That's stopped right at the blue line, taken over the blue line by about 3 inches. Kicked back in, and we'll have a face-off for offside. Bulin, one of the new faces, as he skates away and Petrenko moves into the picture. Face-off in neutral ice territory. Bosen got it back. Pauna taps it up along the boards. Черный. A lot of physical work from both teams along the boards. The boys from Moscow are fast and very, very physical. You have a lot of NHL, a lot of World Championship experience competing with youth and muscle. Boston to the far side. Moscow putting on a lot of pressure as Pauna taps that over to the right wing. Malmö spreading it up. The press coming from Ya.Kubov. A nice little pass through. The shot wide of the target. A big swing there. Took a deflection. That was Sundström who got the wood on it. That comes all the way back to number 7, Pauna. Pauna is playing one heck of a game on the D for Malmö. A loose puck along the boards. Hansen goes in to help out. All the way back to Pauna. He takes a swipe at it. Hansen is there on the back and he scores! Hansen quick to react. And Pauna way back at the blue took the shot. The goaltender starting to go down. The glove goes up, but he misses that one again from a different angle. Hansen, 14, skating across the middle of your screen, takes the chance here to take a swipe at it, almost a chip shot, and that goes upstairs to level the score. A deflecting, bouncing puck here, and Hansen able to chip it up over the goaltender. 1-1 the score. 14 minutes and 32 seconds gone in the period. Rydmark gets that in the circle, puts it up amongst the lights as that comes down. Karpovtsev took Rydmark out of the play, and Dynamo. Sorokin, who also made the All-Star team, got that forward to number 7, Kamensky. Kamensky throws it out nicely. Karpovtsev, the big defenseman, on the backhand, looking for Kamensky, cruising out front. A loose puck there was quickly whistled down, lying under Mats Luth. Holding penalty to Luth on the play. There really hasn't been a lot of penalties in this game so far. This is the 10th minute to Malmö, only 4 minutes to Moscow Dynamo here in the second period. 35:09 the time of this penalty to Luth for holding. I guess you could call that holding. Comes all the way back. The big shot comes in. Passed over nicely by Sorokin. A chance now for Helminen as he gets it out of the zone, taking the pressure off of this power play here in the second period. Sergei Sorokin brings it up nicely, breaks into center, flips it over on the left wing. Going after his man is Zvela. Robert Zvela, the 24-year-old Czech with lots of World Championship experience. Karpovtsev takes a break. With no let up in the chanting and screaming and drumming in this capacity crowd. Flipped over onto the near side. Filimonov takes a shot. That took a deflection. Dorofeyev couldn't handle that. And Helminen goes for a skate. Dorofeyev picked up the loose puck, dropped it back to the D, breaks up onto the right side. Dorofeyev now slows it down as he brings it into Ya.Kubov. Ya.Kubov bangs it behind the net. That's tipped away. Still a bouncing puck. A lot of bobbling pucks out there. Difficult to control. Both teams using the muscle along the boards. Dorofeyev never stops skating. Goes into the corner. Svela stays on him. And that trickles down to the Dynamo Moscow zone, much to the delight of the Malmö supporters out there as they try to kill off this penalty. Kamensky taps it nicely into the corner. Kamensky, the return pass on the hash marks. Ya.Kamинский, still only 21 years old, setting up this power play effort, tried to put it through the skates. That still isn't away. Filimonov took the shot, and again it's batted down. Zvela got a piece of it. Dorofeyev couldn't get it out front. Kamинский all the way back to the blue. Kamинский, the return pass. Again he gets it. Now moves into the top of the circle. Winds up, takes the shot, scores! Power play goal for Ya.Kamинский. Lindmark looking for daylight out there. Had problems. Svella was in his face. Р.Ильин was in his face. Let's watch this again from a different angle. Everyone in front of the goaltender caught on the short side on that one. Lindmark on a power play effort. Just outside the circle. That's what forwards are supposed to do. Provide as much screen as you can. And there's a penalty on the play. Interference is the call.
Zunächst einmal das 2:1 für Dynamo Moskau.
Well, I think it's actually too many men on the ice.
Der Spieler mit der Nummer 7, Ya.Kamинский.
Confirmation that Kamинski's goal
Goal number 2, Dynamo Moscow. Score.
You can see it just going in on the short side, just inside the post. Confirmation that the goal has been allowed. Р.Ильин, Roman Р.Ильин, number 27, has been given an assist. There's the goal scorer there.
Wegen zu vieler Spieler auf dem Eis. Penalty time, Dynamo,
They're still trying to sort out this penalty. Too many players at first. There was an indication that there was another penalty on the play, but it's now been given to V.Gratchev at 36:58 for too many players on the ice. It's not very often you see a Russian coach getting caught with too many players out on the ice. 2-1 the score here in the second period. Malmö trailing this one, bring it back on the attack. This is a great seesaw battle. Lots of shots on goal, lots of hard hitting along the boards. Lutz taken out of the play, coming back quickly. Number 24, Nicolishin. And Malmö slowing it down, now picking up the pace. Pетренко goes after his man. The shot into the corner, dump and run. Karpovtsev goes in after it. That's tipped into the corner. Silvegaard got it over, and now they set it up. Kamинский goes after his man. He's back there, out there on the ice, and they're relying heavily on this youngster. Rydmark dances along the circle, takes it back to the hash marks, gets it all the way back to Lutz. Lutz throws it along the boards into the corner. That ends up nicely on Karpov's stick, and he can only get it as far as the blue line. Oman shoots it back in from the circle. Mukhomedov got a piece of it. Pетренко taps that off the boards. Oman takes his man out of the boards, but Pетренко keeps going after it, touches it, and the whistle blows for a penalty. There's the hook. Pетренko getting the stick in on Silvegaard. Again, from a different angle, bringing down number 18 of Malmö, and that's going to cost him two. 38-23 gone in this game. 2-1 the score. Moscow leading this one. Difficult situation now with Moscow with two men in the box. Filimonov will take the opportunity to fire it all the way down. Zvela goes back quickly. Zvela with Helminen. Being shadowed there by Yakubov. The long pass is not a good one. And a wasted effort there by Malmö. Naslund skates back in a position. 8 years with the Montreal Canadiens, 82 through 90. 33 years old, but still playing at times like a teenager. Thrown up onto the wing. Naslund slams on the brakes, picks up the puck. Working along the boards, trying to kick that one free. Zvela fakes a shot, throws it over to the far side. Muhammedov comes up with a big save. Hasselblad is spun around. And tempers start to flare out there, but Mukhometov came up big on this. Zvela came in, faked the shot, tipped it over to the far side. Watched the goaltender staying square to the shot. Eventually got the glove on it. Hasselblad came in quickly to rough him up. And A.Юдин had something to say about it. A chance now for Moscow. Going in on goal. Lindmark goes down. Grachev stepped out of the penalty box. And this is being whistled down. Let's take a look at this again. Grachev, who's in there for too many men on the ice, faked the shot. No goal. No goal is the call from the referee. There's the pass through. Grachev breaks in on goal, beats Lindmark, but it's not going to count. 2-1. Still the score with Dynamo Moscow in the lead as we try to sort out this situation out on the ice. Rydmark getting instructions from Hansen. Hansen has scored the only goal so far for Malmö. Sundström gets set along with Rydmark and Hansen. This has been a good line for Malmö. The face-off goes back to where that pass originated. And Malmö now go deep. Plus, the shadow comes from Nikolajshin. Rydmark peppers out along the boards as far as the blue, and Malmö start to set it up. Again, we have a whistle on the play as the goal is knocked totally off its moorings. Mukhometov is having a tough time out there. Everyone seems to be gunning for his net. Take a look at this again. Rydmark being pushed into the cage by Gribko. And the officials will attempt to put this one back on its moorings. Time ticking away here in the second period. 2-1 the score. Yashin and Kamensky have scored for Moscow Dynamo. Roger Hansen picked up the only goal for the Malmö side, and they seem to be having problems putting that net back on its moorings. There are about 29 seconds remaining on the period. In the old days, they used to have posts coming out of the ice, and if you hit it, well, that was the end of your career. The net did not move. Now they're playing a much more intelligent game. They're weighted. And I have a feeling if they can't fix this, they'll just end the period and add the seconds on the third period. It looks like that's what they're going to do, unless they can get the staff out there with the drill. A big round of applause. For the repairman, if he can repair it. We'll take another look at this. It looked innocent enough, but it did the damage. No one injured on the play. And they're still having difficulty putting this net back on its moorings. And the officials are taking a break. We're going to add these seconds on at the start of the third period. We're going to take a break. Join us for the third and final period in a moment. Welcome back to action on Eurosport, the European Cup. And it's Malmö trailing Dynamo 2-1. And we now hear the end of the period with that buzzer coming after they cleared the ice. Let's take a look at that shot. If you remember, the second period ended with 29 seconds remaining after the goal had been dislodged and it couldn't be repaired before they cleaned the ice, and it wasn't sensible to keep the teams out on the ice for just 29 seconds, so they started the period with the extra seconds added on. To the third and final period. This is building for a good